Hey there, and welcome back into the Bulldog Blitz. I have the privilege to be joined by our regular panel back in action here in the new season. We have Stephen Peak and Eric Brown. Stephen Peak, of course, the sports editor for the Collegian, and Eric Brown, our resident expert, our Bulldog Blitz senior analyst. So thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Stephen, I'll start with you. The Butler football team, boy, talk about momentum. Coming off a huge win, they could have easily given up after being 21-0, being down. They come back and win it in overtime. That's a huge one.
Yeah, being down 21-0 is leaves room for excuses, and they didn't take any. Going into overtime and immediately getting a great touchdown pass, just continuing what they did in the second half, and distributing the ball well, blocking, playing defense. Just they have a real great attitude this season so far.
Yeah, it was good to see. One of the things about Butler's, they've kind of been improving their program over the last few years, and they've always started out real nice in the non-conference schedule, but they've kind of struggled once they've gotten in the conference season. So it's good to see them come back and get that first Pioneer Football League win, especially with the game coming up this weekend against San Diego State.
Hey, lead me right into it. A big weekend here, homecoming. It's come up quick, but they've got to be on their game. San Diego's a really tough opponent, maybe one of the best in the Pioneer League.
Yeah, they put up the points, and I remember 2 years ago, 56-9 at home is a vicious loss. It can't help to be on that team. Just being able to watch the game was hard enough. But this year's team is different. They have a different mindset. They're out there to win. They know they can win, and they have the tools to do it. So I'm excited to see San Diego back in Indianapolis.
Yeah, it'll be good to see. Like Steven said, San Diego, they're preseason Pioneer Football League favorite. So it'll be nice to see how we build on that momentum. Hopefully, get a victory in front of the fans for the homecoming game.
Eric, the women's volleyball team had quite a weekend. Cleveland State, they take them 5 sets, and then they answer right back and just shut the door on Wright State. Big weekend for them, and I know they have to be proud to start league play undefeated.
Oh yeah, it's always great when you can start league play undefeated. Cleveland State, like you said, they pushed them to the limit, but we were able to get the win. Portia Allen and Jessica Wolf each had double-doubles, and I believe Katie Dupree had a season high with 31 digs. So some good performances from our key players, and then they came out nicely again against Wright State and swept them, which was nice to see.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Cleveland State has been improving the past couple of years. They have all the pieces they need to be a great team this year. That's not to say that I'm not happy Butler came out on top, because that is a great win, and it'd be a lie to say that the 5-set win Friday night didn't help the Saturday night win against Wright State.
Steve, you work closely with the women's volleyball team.
Mm-hmm.
A big weekend for them coming up. They've got their homecoming game against Alabama A&M. They also travel to Valparaiso on Friday. A week to work on, but they have to still be anticipating another big week here.
Oh yes, and it's hard to look ahead at Alabama A&M without first concentrating on Valpo, considering they're in conference. And Valpo is the only other undefeated team in the Horizon left. So that's a very big match on the road. A win at Valpo would definitely make a game against Valpo at home easier. But Alabama and A&M shouldn't be overlooked. They're only 5-9, but they've been on the road the whole year. And they play tomorrow night at home, so if they're fresh off a home win, it'd be a tougher match for us on Saturday.
Eric, the men's soccer team and the women's soccer team both played Green Bay at home on Sunday. Both victories, so good day to be a Butler soccer fan. Let's talk about this men's team. They had to break open the game in the 86th minute, winning 2-1. It's exciting stuff, especially when you're freshmen scoring one of the big goals.
Yeah, it was a great day for Butler soccer. Green Bay was 29th in the country. They were unbeaten before playing Butler, and the first half was scoreless, a tight game. And to have Green Bay, they scored, I believe, the equalizer in the 82nd minute. So to be able to stay strong and come back and get that game-winning goal was very nice to see.
Yeah, men's soccer has a great mentality this year. They don't want to let anyone score on them. They're out there to score. They're out there to score 3 goals, but they don't. But winning 3-1 is still kind of a letdown for them, which is a great attitude to have when you're looking to make big moves and beat number 25 South Carolina, and then take Green Bay as well. And women's soccer is looking to bounce back from a hard beginning to their season, but they definitely have the pieces returning from last year to do well in the Horizon League.
Eric, 3-0, the women's soccer team. Molly Kruger had 2 goals in her last match. Their team is looking good. They're hovering closer to 500, but I expect big things from them. Undefeated in their first league opener. So.
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see that. Also, Lindsey Fox with a goal and an assist, so that was nice to see. They have some good attackers up front. Like you mentioned, they're getting close to 500. They had a little bit of a tough non-conference season, but to start the Horizon League season off the way you want on the right foot, that's a good thing to see. Also have a chance to improve when they host Milwaukee this Friday, who is the defending Horizon League champion.
And it's always fun to talk about their basketball. I know we are getting closer and closer as we're approaching homecoming now. On the men's and women's side, give me some key games that you're looking at. The schedules were both released for both teams. So, Steve, what are you looking at for the men's side and the women's side?
The men's side, I'm looking, of course, to Ohio State and Xavier coming home. We have a nice pairing with both of those schools going home and away to get some good matchups with them, as well as the Market Square Arena game. That'll be exciting in Georgetown. And on the women's side, I'm actually looking at the Ball State game. I believe it's in Muncie, and Ball State has come off an impressive win over Tennessee in the tournament last year. And they have just a really good attitude about their program, and a win over them would be huge for our ladies.
Yeah, both teams have a very strong non-conference schedule. The men's team hosting Ohio State, Xavier, as well as Davidson, who lost some people, but they're going to have a good recruiting class. And then they're going to go on the road to UAB, who's also got a great recruiting class coming in. Plus the Anaheim Classic in California. The first-round matchup is against preseason number 16 Minnesota, with a possible second-round matchup of UCLA. And the women's team's playing in Cancun, where they'll see Syracuse, and they've also got some tough games at Dayton, at Cincinnati, and at St. Louis University. So both teams have a very strong non-conference schedule, which will be nice to watch how that plays out.
I think it's fair to say that the men's team could have a worse record and be a much better team this year. I think even with everybody's returning, and you're playing some really tough opponents, so we'll see. But thank you guys for joining us this week, and we'll have to have you back sometime soon to kick off this season on the second show. We'll be back with more of the Bulldog Blitz after the break. Please join us. We'll talk about the Butler men's tennis team and what you might expect for homecoming this weekend. Junior men's tennis player Chris Herron will be carrying some momentum into the Purdue Invitational after taking second place at the Ball State Invitational this past weekend. The men's tennis team played their second tournament of the fall in Muncie and had shared success with Chris Herron and two of the doubles teams, the tandem of Stephen McLaughlin and Theodore Lenz, as well as the duo of David Dollins and Ben Schaefer, both advanced to the semifinals before falling to Marquette and Xavier. The Bulldogs will travel to West Lafayette on October 10th for their next match. It's homecoming this weekend here on campus, so you know there's plenty of good games to look forward to. On Friday, the women's soccer team gets things cracking with a 4:30 match against Milwaukee. Then on Saturday, the marquee event for the weekend is a 1 o'clock football game against San Diego in the Butler Bowl that promises to be a real challenge for the Butler football team that has shared some great success early on. Later that evening, the women's volleyball team has their homecoming game against Alabama A&M at 7:30 in Hinkle. Sunday, the women's swimming team will have a quad meet in Fishers against the likes of St. Louis, Wright State, and Evansville at 1 p.m. Well, that will just about do it for this week's episode of the Bulldog Blitz. Make sure to catch us next week on Comcast On Demand or online at youtube.com/Bulldog Blitz Sports. Until then, I'm Mark Minner. We'll see you right back here on the Bulldog Blitz.